Shall we move on now to Laura's 3 trends, which are ethnic without borders, the natural world, and mixed materials, mixed metals, actually. So let's see what we found on that front.
This is a trend I'm calling ethnic without borders, and I'm calling it that because we know that this piece is handcrafted. We know that it's artisan made, but maybe we don't know exactly where it's from. Woven quality and hand stitched, and each one of these is different. This one's an antique. To my right here is this fabulous umbrella. We don't know exactly where it comes from. It could come from Versailles, it could be French, it could be Raj, and it's just the perfect thing for your garden. On the left, this tent is something so spectacular. I want it at every single garden party. This piece is a wonderful statement of ethnic without borders. There's an artisan touch to it. The piece itself is made of reclaimed teak and planks from old ships, and the face of it, which is the most interesting part, is made of print blocks, which are different every time. With all the attention on the environment these days, I think we're seeing a trend I'd like to call the natural world. It's an attention to detail and materials that are really left untouched, rather raw, and that's what makes them beautiful. This piece over here, this twisted rainforest vine from Thailand, is beautiful just by itself. It can be used as a wall sculpture, a headboard. It's just this wonderful sculptural element, and it's art in and of itself. We're looking at a piece here that is really amazing. It is a concrete piece, but it is made with cocoa fiber and low-fly ash, which makes it really eco-friendly. I love this piece because, again, it's understated, it shows its raw quality. The best part about this piece is that it's got this gorgeous saffron color. It's a natural pigment and it's UV stable. I'm sitting in a room that takes the natural world and puts it together all in one place. These candlesticks in front of me are beautifully turned wooden candlesticks. They're totally raw, there's no finish to them, and they don't need it. They're fantastic just the way they are. And to the right, this incredible pillow is a desired object, and yet it's just raw wool. The heathered quality of this piece makes it fantastic. This is a trend we're calling mixed metals, and you'll see a little bit of this year, but more coming in the following years. It's a new trend, and I think it's really a look towards antique metals. The mirror behind me is silver leafed with little flecks of bronze leaf on them, so they have this beautiful warm and cool combination. It's a really beautiful quality to have in your room. We're looking at these beautiful tables that are a part of the mixed metal trend. They're a combination of silver leaf and an antique mirrored glass, but there's a softness, a lightness to them. It's not too flashy, and this is really very now. Here is the pretty sort of feminine side of that mixed metal trend. These are such precious, delicate little pieces. I really love the combination of the antique mercury glass and this hand-painted gold leaf. These are really special. They just feel very expensive, and yet they're not.
Thank you, Laura. I feel like we were all drawn to again and again. Yes, those wonderful tents were very exotic and colorful, but more often than not, we were drawn to this, what we talked about, the understated, the elegant, the raw, the quietness of a lot of pieces. Do you find that, trend aside, that's how you've always decorated for yourself? I mean, of course, you have clients that have different demands and different aesthetic needs, but is that kind of how you always love to do your rooms for yourself and more of this kind of genre?
Yeah, I think, for me, doing a room is always about balance. And so it's nice to combine something like that gorgeous lacquer that you showed with something that really is raw and untreated and unfinished, because I really like the natural world mixed with things that are handmade and man-made.
Yeah, but I think that one of the things that people really are not willing to make that compromise anymore between something that is, again, if it's sustainable and good looks, or the trade-off between the quality and the price point. I think those are all issues that we're really seeing a lot of at this show, is that people are really demanding so much more in these economic times. And I think that's something we're seeing in all the materials.
Do you find your client more and more willing to mix and be daring and sort of do what we're talking about?
I think we still, I think what's interesting about the three of us as a panel is that we all represent somewhat different design approaches, from more contemporary to more classic. So I think we'll all approach it slightly differently. But I know that with our clients, because I tend to be more of a classic designer, is that I'm actually having to push them often to bring in and integrate some of the more contemporary aspects to give their home a more vital sense.
And is that something new? I mean, say 10 years ago, would you have, do you find that you just like that more yourself, or is that? Yeah,
I think it just makes any room look so much more alive. And I think, to me, the kiss of death is when you walk into a room and you can tell that the decorator was just here. You really want it to feel like it's just a natural evolution of that person and of their personality.
Yeah, I can't agree with more about that. It's you need to walk into a space and I think have it read like the client. It's really about it being personal, and so this sort of eclectic mix that we're seeing now. We're not necessarily seeing matched suites of things. It's really about selecting independent objects that are important to that person, that means something to that person. And I think that's why it's great to have a professional help you out with that. It's wonderful for us because it reinforces the job that we do.
Well, then when you see a room that was all done with one thought, it's caught in time. If you have a whole mixture, it breaks the barrier of time. You don't know when it was done because there's so many different thoughts that are been mixed in. And again, saying suites of furniture, that is something that I think for a retailer it can help them a lot, that you can sell everything together. But I think that the consumer, who has been so trained in fashion to mix and match, now starting to understand because they see it in catalogs, they see it in magazines. So I think that it allows the manufacturer the opportunity to have more of a blend instead of putting all their money into one thought.
Yes.
And if it doesn't sell, then they're stuck. If there's a mixture, they can pick what's right, what's selling, and maneuver through it.